Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to go to our next featured guest speaker. And our next featured guest speaker, her name is Betty Ann Howard. And Betty Ann, I remember, I mean, we've been friends for quite some time because we've been working with her for a while. But Betty Ann spoke a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago, at an event that we used to hold here in Ottawa called the High Impact Speaking Showcase. And at the High Impact Speaking Showcase, our audience votes for awards. And so Betty Ann, by the audience's vote, Betty Ann was awarded the World Class Speaker Award. And she did this beautiful presentation where she had 2 flip charts and she talked about sex on one side, talked about money on the other, and drew a parallel between those 2 things. Now, Betty Ann is, she's got 20-something years or more in the financial services business. She's a financial planner. She has been a sex therapist. She has been a psychotherapist. And she has, I hope I got that right, but she is just a myriad of skills, and she's one of the funnest people we know. Let's put Betty Ann Howard on the screen to say hello.
Oh, join me. Okay.
Hi, there you are. Hi, Betty Ann. Welcome. Listen, I'm going to let you fire away and show us your stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome with a virtual applause, Betty Ann Howard.
Thank you very much, Steve, and it's a pleasure to be here. Fortunately, I had a chance in my breakout room to realize that even though I have an amplifier so you can hear me okay, I have to stay very close to my computer because I live out in the country and my voice breaks up. So I'm going to be staying very close to my computer so that you can hear me. And which is rather unfortunate in some ways because I had hoped to get up and do a little bit of a dance. Well, some of the dances. So let me begin by saying that my topic is dancing with the money dragon. And you may be wondering why I have chosen that particular theme. So first of all, I think that metaphors are great for us to use in order to help people understand concepts better. And in addition to that, it also keeps our interest. And what can happen when we're talking about money and financial planning, people can glaze over and lose their interest, which is why I gave the talk, The Magic of Sex, and drew the parallels between sex and money. So that's number one. Number two, the reason why I chose dancing is because we have a relationship with money and I see it as a dance. And there are many different dances we can do with money, which is why I brought in the dancing. Now, the next one is the money dragon. Like, why did I pick the money dragon? For many people, we have a lot of emotions that are attached to our relationship with money. And I think that very much can be represented by a money dragon, because a lot of us have this immediate fight or flight response if we in fact encountered a dragon. So oftentimes that's what also can happen when it comes to people's relationship with money. There can be a fear response, there's a lot of anxiety. So my goal with my time with you is to help you have a better understanding and about the dance that you're doing with money, to facilitate the conversation that you're actually having with money, and how, and especially during this time of financial crisis. And my hope is that you'll be able to see what dance you're currently doing and how you might take a step in the sequence. Thanks, Georgina, for smiling away there. It's nice to see that. It's hard for me, I can't see everybody. So how we can take the next steps to go to the next dance. And so my hope is that this will help you with that. The 5 dances that I'm going to talk about are tap, polka, foxtrot, waltz, and tango. And for each one of those dances, there are very specific characteristics of each dance. There are emotions that come with the dance. There are steps that come with the dance. And there are feelings. And there are also thoughts or stories that we're telling ourselves when it comes to each one of the dances. So, are you ready to dance? I hope that you're already starting to think and imagine those different dances. So let's start with tap. So tap is a very solitary dance. It's a dance that the dancer is doing on their own. And if they're doing it on their own, they're keeping the money dragon way over here. Now, the good news is you're moving your feet and you are dancing. However, you aren't going anywhere. So, and what you're feeling is you're feeling a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, and a lot of fear. And as a result of those feelings, you're feeling stuck and you're staying in the same place. The story you might be telling yourself is, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Like, I have no idea. What am I going to do? What am I supposed to be doing in the midst of this financial crisis? So I'm wondering how many people are actually feeling this way, this particular way. The next dance is polka. And I had said to Jane, I wanted to get up and show you how to do the polka. So again, as I said, it may be that you can't hear me if I get up and do the polka, but the polka is a very fast dance. And there are very specific steps. But if you've seen people in a dance hall, as I did, I used to do the polka with my mother, people are going everywhere and bumping into each other. So in the polka, you actually have your dance partner. You have the money dragon as your dance partner. But when you're doing the polka, you're keeping like your partner, there's a fair distance between you and your partner, between you and your dance partner. You are going somewhere, and it's a very fixed pattern that you're following when it comes to doing the polka. So the feelings are that you have lessened your anxiety and fear somewhat, and you're moving around. You're not standing in one place, but you're not exactly sure where it is that you're going and how you're going to get there, but at least you're moving and you are dancing with the money dragon. So I'm wondering if this is one of the dances that you're actually doing. And the story you could be telling yourself could be, I have no money coming in. That's certainly the case for a lot of people right now who are coaches and trainers and so on. And you are feeling like you can do something. You are taking some steps. So you could be reducing your expenses, which is a starting point. And you're saying to yourself, I can make this work in an immediate sense, and you haven't really thought through what the next steps are going to be. So the good news is you've slowed down somewhat, and you're starting to think some of these things through when you're going from tap dance to actually doing the polka. The next dance is foxtrot. And the characteristics of the foxtrot are that I used to do the foxtrot with my father. You're bringing your partner in closer. And so therefore, as a result of bringing the money dragon in, and keep in mind, this isn't your partner, this is the money dragon who is your partner. So you've brought your partner in a little bit closer, which means you have much better communication with your money dragon than you did with tap and polka. And you have slowed down considerably. So when it comes to the foxtrot, it's a more rhythmic movement. And there are it's sometimes referred to as the two-step. And so what that means for me as a metaphor is that you're actually taking steps to reduce your anxiety and fear. And as a result, you're starting to formulate a response, a plan about how you're going to deal with this crisis and how you're going to deal with your finances. So the story you might be telling yourself is, okay, I've got this for now, and I'm not so sure about the future. So I'm wondering how many of you if this rings true for any of you when it comes to the pace, the feelings, and the stories that you might be telling yourself. So the next dance So we've gone from tap to polka to foxtrot, and now I'm going to talk about the waltz. And the waltz just gives me goosebumps, actually. The waltz is a very composed and elegant dance. And it's a dance of beauty and grace. So you've brought your dance partner very, very close. If you can imagine people doing the waltz, you're very, very close with your partner. Remember that your partner is the money dragon. And the feelings that you're still having feelings, because we all have feelings. So the feelings that you're experiencing, like fear, anxiety, the feelings that are attached to some uncertainty, they are a natural part of life, but you feel as though because you're so graceful and so elegant, you know how to manage those feelings. And you know, when I was listening to the other WEN Global members talk, I really see how many of the things you're talking about really build on or can be a part of what it is that I'm talking about. And the story you're telling yourself is that, okay, I know how to get through this. I do have a plan. I know where I am. And part of knowing where you are when it comes to money is I know what's coming in, I know what's going out, I know what resources I have. So I know where I am and I know where I'm going and I know how to get there. So that is the next dance in the sequence of the dances. So I'm wondering how many of you feel like you're actually waltzing, or that you at least want to know how to waltz and actually improve your steps, if you will, when it comes to waltzing. So far we've talked about tap, polka, foxtrot, waltz, and now comes tango. So I talked about the pace, and I said with the dances as we were going along from the polka to foxtrot to waltz, we've slowed down considerably. When you think about the tango, you've sped back up again. And when you look at couples, so you're dancing with your money dragon, you are dancing, so you have to be so connected with your dance partner that you feel every movement in their body. The tango is fast-paced, and it can be a very complex dance. And just so you know, I've taken ballroom dancing many times and also jive lessons. And I had a lot of fun looking at the history of these dances, because as I was imagining these concepts as they pertain to financial planning, I was shocked at how similar the descriptions of the dances really fit with how I see things. So just when you thought you couldn't bring your dance partner any closer, you do it. And this is an amazing dance. The tango is an amazing dance, and it requires extreme communication with your money dragon, with your money. And when you're doing the tango, you have mastered these steps, and it's a very, very fast pace. So the story you're telling yourself is that you have a plan, you know where you're going, you know how you're going to get there, plus you have a contingency plan, because we all know that when life intervenes, things happen, and it's really important to also have a contingency plan, which is your backup plan. If something goes wrong, if there's a misstep in the tango, you have to be ready to recover from that, and that you are going boldly forward in your life and looking at the opportunities that are there and how you can best, I don't like the word take advantage or capitalize, but you know what I mean in terms of the opportunities that are there in front of you. So in conclusion, there are some general points that I want to make about dancing for you. Because first of all, if we're dancing, at least we're doing something. And my approach is there's always something positive about the dances that we are doing. So no matter what dance you're doing, dancing requires discipline, no matter where you are. And it's the same thing when it comes to your money. You need to have some discipline. It also requires patience. So it requires patience for you to learn the steps and then be able to put it together in the dance. And it's the same thing with money. There are certain steps that you need to know how to take and know what those steps are, and then put it together into your own personal dance. It is a form of communication. Dance is absolutely a form of communication. So you need to be thinking about, what is your relationship like with money? How well are you communicating with your money? I used to deliver a workshop where I got people to draw pictures about, what does your relationship with money look like now, and what do you want it to look like, and what's the one next step you can take to get one step closer to how you want that relationship to look. And it's all about improving that communication. We can all improve our communication when it comes to our money dragon. It's also play. Now, I want you to know I've taken some significant flack from some people, nobody in this group, obviously, because what I am told sometimes is that money is very serious business, and it is very serious business. And I believe that we have to learn how to play. Because it's only through play that we can open ourselves up to our imagination and what I truly believe is magic when it comes to pulling this all together and doing the dance with the money dragon. It is truly magical, and I absolutely believe that. And so I think play is an important part of understanding our relationship with money. It takes resilience, and it takes an open mind. And the same thing applies to how we deal with our money. The steps may be simple, but it is not necessarily easy. So we hear that expression a lot. The same thing with dancing, and it applies to dancing with our money dragon. And the final point I want to make is that it takes faith. It takes faith that you are going to be able to learn the steps, and you're going to know how to do the dance, and you're going to be able to figure it out. So be patient, be disciplined, and know that you can have some fun with this and do some playing. And how is my time? In talking to Jane and Steve about this presentation, I realized that I'm not going to be able to go into a lot of the different strategies that apply to each dance. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare materials specifically for people who are on this call and who are WEN Global members, and I'll put it on my website so that you can look at what the different steps are and what is involved in going to the next phase of the dance, from tap to polka to foxtrot to waltz and then to tango. And you know, I asked myself, so I ask you as well. I keep asking myself, what dance am I doing? And as I said, it gave me goosebumps. I love to waltz. I think waltz is beautiful. And I know that when it comes to, I'm a financial planner, so I have to, and I have had to learn over the years. I like to do the tango, and I like to step into that realm, and other times I like to just kind of slow down and go back and do the waltz. And for anybody who loves to dance, I hope I didn't offend you around the tap, because I know there are many other features to tap that I haven't brought in that are really positive features. So that speaks to the strengths that we all have, regardless of what dance we're doing. And as I said, my goal was to help you have a better understanding and provide you with some tools in order to identify where you are now and where you might like to go, and there will be more tools available to you. So I'm going to stop there and invite Jane and Steve back in.
Well, Betty Ann, that was absolutely outstanding. We absolutely love that. Now, folks, to give her a virtual applause, here's how we do that. You can go like this in the, and that's all cool. But here's a good way to give somebody a virtual applause. I'm going to go to the chat window, and here's what I do for a standing ovation: is I just do this, and enter. And that is a standing ovation. Capital A is a standing ovation, a standing applause, and a whole bunch of A's is an applause. So feel free to express your appreciation for Betty Ann with a, look at this, Betty Ann, look at all the applause. And I have to tell you, I was watching the
Thanks.
and people had beautiful remarks about you. They loved your presentation, but this is an important thing. And that is, make sure that once all of the applause is done, that you go back in and re-enter your information, because people want to talk to you. They're going to want to get to know you, and they're going to want to reach out. So ladies and gentlemen, one more time, a big welcome, a big thank you for Betty Ann Howard. Betty Ann, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. This was fun.
It was fun. All right, terrific. So